gonna get a chance to get connected good, and then I will move forward with our topic. But I think that right as I pull out of my neighborhood, there's a patch where it doesn't connect to the 5G tower or whatever it is that it uses to connect. That's not my so I don't know about that shit. Curve. And then we gonna get on this topic. Get myself ready. Okay, so it's another beautiful day where we're watching out for hurricanes here in South Florida. I hope that you are having a good day too. I am not one of those people who sees weather conditions as negative. And that doesn't mean that they can't be dangerous. That doesn't mean that they can't be chaotic. But like everything else in life, everything has the capacity to be dangerous or chaotic. So when I look at weather, I am thankful and grateful for what Earth Mother Onile is doing at this time, because she's doing everything that she needs to do so that I can continue to exist on her. So I'm grateful. That's how I look at weather conditions. And of course, I'm cautious. Of course, I do what I need to keep me and my family safe. But inside, in my internal view, is one of gratitude for Earth Mother Onile continuing to carry us on her back and provide us with everything that we need at this time. And weather is part of that, right? So that is what it is. So, what I want to talk about today, as I am on my way up to campus, is the new subscription series that I'm going to offer for Witchy Wednesdays. Um, as I've been having the courses and as you all have been attending and as we have been dialoguing back and forth, y'all have asked for subscription. And so I worked on it and meditated on it and let it come to my mind, and now we have it. So the new series that we're going to do for the rest of November, and I think that first week in December, is going to be called The Black Girl's Guide to the Dark Side. Because the majority of what keeps us out of our power is our insistence as Black women to not want to dip into the dark side, or we can only dip into the dark side under a specific set of circumstances. And normally, by the time we have decided to reach into our own personal dark side and through that access the dark side of the universe, we are very far gone. The situation has gone far. We've already been harmed, abuse or trauma has already occurred. So, one of the things that I want to mitigate with this particular series is our fear of the dark side and our reluctance to engage the dark side. What I know is that if we engage the dark side when we engage the dark side in a way that's balanced, it is what is best for us, it is what is safest for us, and it is what puts us in the position to receive our abundance, and it puts us on track to fulfill our destiny. So the Black Girl's Guide to the Dark Side is what we will be starting tomorrow. I'll have the subscription live on the site this evening around 6. Okay, I'm not sure what happened. The screen went black. I hope y'all still can see me. I'll have the subscription live on the site this evening around 6, so you will be able to purchase it. So the subscription, you'll be purchasing 4 classes but for the price of 3 classes. So if you choose to do the 4 class subscription, you'll be getting 1 class for free, basically. If you choose to just buy the classes once a week, then that means that, that extra class you'll have to pay for it, but it will be completely your choice. So for the Black Girls Guide to the Dark Side, we're going to do 4 different classes. Our first class is going to be using glamour to influence people. And glamour is not what our current modern definition of the word is. A glamour is actually a magical cast that you put over yourself. It is a particular type of magic that makes other people view you in a certain type of way. And so that will be our first class, using glamour to influence people, how to make people see you in a specific way. The second class is going to be dark sexuality, how to use sexual energy to obtain what you need, to manifest your desires, to draw to yourself those things that you need. The third class will be, I think, the power of the spoken word and how to use dark energy to say what it is that you need to say and draw things to you using the power of the tongue, what we call the power of the tongue, what you say, how you speak. And then the fourth class, and I should have had the, hold on one second, guys. People are driving a little crazy. It is strange that when there's a hurricane, even if there's no rain or anything like that, people drive weirdly. I guess they call themselves being cautious, but it just translates into weird and difficult to navigate. Okay, I'm trying to remember what the fourth class was, and it is not coming to my mind, so I will have to put it in the description box. But what I wanted to talk about today, one of the aspects of leaning into your dark side was what I wanted to discuss today on my way to Campus Drive. And that is detaching yourself from the desire to prove other people wrong. Right? You got to detach yourself from the desire to prove other people wrong. This is the next level of being comfortable with being the villain in somebody's story. So, I think one of the main reasons that we shy away from being the villain is because whoever it is that's in opposition to us many times is out in the world creating a narrative about us that's not true. I remember when I divorced my second husband, and the narrative that he created in the African centered community, in the Elay that we had built together, was that I was greedy. And this narrative was based on the fact that I expected him to help take care of our children, to help financially, to help socially, just to continue to be a parent. And because that was my expectation, and not only was it my expectation, it was what we had agreed upon when I told him that I wanted a divorce. We agreed upon an amount that he would pay every month. We sat down and calculated why it should be that amount, and the frequency with which he would pay the amount to me. And when the deal finally went down and it was time for him to start paying this amount, he created a narrative in the community that I was greedy and that I was trying to take, quote unquote, take all of his money. Yeah, it was a minuscule amount, y'all. It was minuscule. You know that whenever you hear a person complaining about the amount of child support they have to pay, I guarantee you it ain't never no whole bunch of money. People who paying a whole bunch of money generally ain't complaining. So it's a minuscule amount, but he created this narrative out in the community that I was greedy and that he didn't have money to do the things that he needed to do because I expected him to financially support his children. And not only that, but that I was living some sort of lavish lifestyle off of this tiny amount of money that he was sending me. So that was the narrative that he created. And so I very much limited my actions. I very much limited my interactions. I very much limited the oh shoot, the opportunities I allowed myself to take based on the fact that I knew he was out there telling people that. And I didn't know whether or not that was how they viewed me. I didn't know whether or not that was how they were thinking of me. And so it made me put myself in a tiny little box and not step outside of that box. And it kept me in a particular type of space of fear of what people were thinking about me and what people were saying about me. But the biggest issue with that is that I stayed in the same place where he and I had lived together, in the same place where he and I had built an Elay together, in the same place where the majority of our mutual acquaintances lived. And part of the reason that I stayed there was to prove him wrong. Let me, they gonna see that I'm not greedy. They gonna see that I'm a good woman. I didn't have any desire to stay in that place. It was not a place that I enjoyed living. Still one of my least favorite places in the world to live. Okay, the screen is going black. I hope that when it's going black, it's not pausing. But if I need to remake the video once I'm done with teaching classes, then I will do that. But yeah, I didn't want to stay in the place. I didn't like the place. It's not a place that feels good to me. It's not a place that feeds me. It's not a place that uplifts me. But I stayed there to prove him wrong and to prove anybody who believed him wrong. I'm not greedy. I'm not a bad person. I'm not this. I'm not that. And part of proving that you're not greedy is making sure that you ain't out here looking greedy. And making sure that you ain't out here looking greedy means that you out here looking poor. You out here looking lacking. You out here looking like you in need. That's part of proving that point. Now, I hadn't put all that together in my mind at the time, but that's literally what I did. So you have to reach, and what I realized once I came out of that is that you have to reach a point where you are not trying to prove anybody wrong. And it's not just that. You got to reach a point where you don't give a fuck what they think. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. I do not give a fuck. You are free to think that I am greedy. Please look at my lifestyle and call me bougie and call me extra and call me greedy. You are free to call me a gold digger. You are free to believe that this little minuscule amount that this man is paying for these children that he begged me to have is every bit of his money. You are free to believe that. And if every time you see me, what you think is she didn't have to take all his money like that, think that too. Think that too, right? Please sit in those thoughts of me. And I'm going to tell you, when you reach a point of saying, I don't give a fuck what you think about me, what that does is it keeps a whole bunch of bullshit out of your cipher. I promise you. It keeps a whole bunch of bullshit out of your way, right? And what I mean by that is, if when people see me, they think that's a greedy, gold digging bitch who took her ex-husband to court for child support and took every dime of his money. And if you a broke, crusty ass motherfucker who was gonna think about trying to holler at me, you know that's not gonna work out. You already know I'm not interested in you, right? That's a greedy, gold digging bitch who took her ex-husband to child support and took every bit of his money. Then if you a trifling male-centered woman who builds your whole life around getting the approval of crusty foots, then I don't want to be your friend. It ain't no point in you approaching me, right? You have to reach the point where you don't give a fuck what people are thinking about you, and You are not married to proving them wrong, right? Let them have whatever thought it is that they want to have. I don't care. I'm not out here proving anybody wrong. A couple of years ago, one of my former godchildren, a person that I had done lots of spiritual work for, had actually assisted spiritually in bringing back from the brink of death. When I first started working with this person, they had pulmonary embolism. And those of you who are in the medical field would know what that means better than I do. Anyway, I worked with the person spiritually to the point where they were mobile and healthy and happy again and traveling and doing a whole bunch of, you know, basically doing the things that they wanted to do out in the world. And for some reason, when I took my December sabbatical to spend time with my children, this angered that person because I wasn't time to continue to work on them and help them work on themselves. And so they began a whole smear campaign against me. They called my job. They put up Facebook posts that were untrue. They put up YouTube videos and did Zoom conferences and just made up all kinds of lies about me. Literally was out here saying that I was running some sort of kidnapping ring for children. Now, mind you, I got 6 kids of myself. Why the fuck would I take other kids? Like, why would I do that? Yeah, I'm good on that. I've done that. You know, I got kids. There's no reason for me to take nobody else's. But they, started all this rumor mill and everything, and I didn't say shit. I didn't do shit. Now, once they called my job, I had to implement what my job called the stalking protocols. So I did have to, um, file a court case against them and do all that kind of stuff because that's what my job requires when you are being stalked in that way, cyber stalked in that way. That's the protocols of my job. But outside of that, which I was required to do in my job, I didn't do shit. I didn't say shit about it. I didn't address it. I didn't go out there and change the rumor and say, no, of course I'm not kidnapping people's children. I didn't do none of that because I figure if you stupid enough to believe that I'm doing that, then I don't want to know you anyway. I don't want to work with you anyway. If you dumb enough to listen to this person and in the way that they present themselves and the way that they speak and in the way that they are presenting this information about me, if the way that they present it is not putting you off, and if you're like, oh, this sounds true, then you ain't nobody that I want to be acquainted with anyway. So I didn't bother to change any of that. I'm not out here giving a damn. I don't give a damn. We have to stop worrying about proving somebody wrong. I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to prove nobody wrong. The first time I got married, I was 20 years old. And the first time I got divorced, I was 21, about to turn 22. Everybody was angry with me for divorcing this man who I'm gonna have to stop, guys. That's a hurricane warning thing. So let me promise that I will put a part 2 to this video. But let me stop and read. The university actually might be closed, so I have to stop and read it and see what their next steps are for us. But it'll be a part 2. Give me a chance. I ain't gonna leave y'all hanging. But peace. Oh Jesus! I tell you what, Florida.